Welcome to TheoTrade. This is Don Kaufman. It's October 8th, 2025. We are 1 hour after the cash close here on this Wednesday afternoon. The S&P's up once again, a staggering 42 handles. Frothy markets feel no fear. Although there's quite a bit to discuss here, of course, in this TheoTrade evening update. Let's start with the obvious. All right, what's driving markets? Once again, it's the AI Circle of Life trade. Today, brought to you by Broadcom, a side order of NVIDIA, and interestingly enough, a little bit of Amazon. And I'm bringing that up and saying a little bit of Amazon. If you guys have not looked at Amazon on a year-to-date basis, it's massively unchanged. You wouldn't have expected that where, look, tech stocks are absolutely flying over here. Amazon's flat on the year. So if you are at all, if you would, bullish in the S&Ps and bullish in tech, Amazon has some splaining to do. Actually, Amazon has some catching up to do. The upside could actually be advantageous. With bringing that up, might as well bring up Apple too. Apple's only up 5.8% on a year-to-date basis. So these are not exactly like staggering amounts, but Amazon definitely contributed to some of the upside in the S&Ps today. It is not, okay, and was not, in play for a significant period of time. This is like one of the first days it's actually staged any up move whatsoever, literally in like the last month. All right, let's spin it around and talk about the overall markets for just a second. So the S&Ps continued their climb a little bit here. All-time highs, as I said, though, it's frothy markets, and they don't seem to feel the fear. One thing that is interesting is this bifurcation kind of continues, and I'm talking about a bifurcation. Look, the S&Ps are up. Major sectors like financials have not played any critical role. I mean, if I kind of box this out, the financials have been massively unchanged since, for the most part, like mid-August, and here we are, first week, if you will, of October. We've done absolutely nothing. They're just boxed out. 54, 53 half is pretty much all we've seen out of the financials. However, they have actually had, even though they're not moving, they've had some great two-sided trade inside of the financials. But this is a sector that's down. The S&Ps are up, 0.6%. The energy sector, okay, down 0.6%. Also, okay, completely range bound. A lot of sectors look like this. A lot of sectors can't get out of their own way. If you take a look at like XLP, consumer staples, this has actually had a precipitous break to the downside. If you take a look at XHB, okay, XHB, of course, is your home builders, precipitous break to the downside. And there's actually a couple of sectors that I can point, okay, that are looking like this. But right now, the market stares, it laughs, and says, who cares? Just keeps on going. But the bifurcation can really also be felt inside of the advanced decline line. The advanced decline line is pretty decisive. I mean, it's 50-50 throughout the course of the day, but it's decisively negative at the end of the day. And I am looking at the S&P 100. In the S&P 100, there's 57 decliners in there. If you want to, let's get crazy. Let's pull up the full S&P 500. The S&P 500 is more 50-50, but who cares about the other 400 stocks? It's S&P 100 because, well, there's really only like 4 or 5 stocks that actually matter these days anyway. And those 4 or 5 have had a bid under them. So as I was saying a moment ago, it's frothy markets feel no fear. I do want to spin around to another topic in here as well and not just state the obvious. The obvious, AI trade continues. Other sectors kind of defect, right? That's that bifurcation I was just talking about. But here's something that isn't that obvious. Take a look at the volatility futures with me. The volatility futures, okay, and I'm going to explain this for a second. Volatility futures with 14 days left to live are trading at 1755. So with that, I'm actually going to write that up on the screen because I want everybody to know what and why I'm actually looking at this. There's a kind of a split, a bifurcation in volatility right now, and this one really matters. So there's 14 days, okay, left to live of this VX, okay, and it's trading at 1755. All right. Meanwhile, the VX settles into VIX, okay? VIX right now is trading and has dropped today to 1630. That's another huge bifurcation because this volatility contract settles to VIX. So one of two things has to happen. Either the VIX has to come up, okay, or the volatility future has to drop. But, okay, why the cause for any concern whatsoever? Because that is a huge gaping differential with only 14 days left to live. Most of the time at this point, we're usually about 50, 60 cents apart with 14 days left. This is monumental. It's over a full point. So one of two things is going to happen. The VIX is going to explode higher or the volatility futures will fall. And you'll be like, oh, well, those volatility futures, okay, you'd think that they're going to fall. But then there's even more of a problem out there, okay? The volatility futures 42 days out are all the way at 19. VIX is actually trading basically at 1630. Okay, there's this gaping differential. The one thing every trader, every investor should know is that volatility, okay, regardless of the drop in the VIX today, volatility continues to see volatility higher, okay, in 14 days. Volatility continues to see volatility consistently higher and dramatically higher 42 days, 70 days, 105 days, okay? This is a wicked contango, okay? And basically what I'm saying is the volatility structure is proclaiming that, that seasonality effect, like volatility should be higher in October. It's screaming it right now. And it doesn't mean that we have to explode back on the scene with volatility, but it sure as hell doesn't help either. All right, let's move away from volatility talk for just a second, okay, and cruise right back over, okay, to the crux of what we do every midweek on Wednesday. Here's the SPX. Let's actually bring it up. You know it, you love it. It's the mother of all products. Look, I'm a trader. I like two-sided trade. You know what you've had this week? Some two-sided trade. This is what we would term two-sided trade. And I really kind of want to zoom into this for just a moment. Yes, we might be higher. Yes, we might be at all-time highs. Okay, but I can't ask for, we're up on Monday, we're down on Tuesday, we're up on Wednesday. Okay, but today, all right, along with the fact that the marketplace is higher and we're up 41, there's also one really critical standout. Yesterday, a down day, saw pretty good volume in the S&Ps. And I do want to bring this up because I wanted to start with two-sided trade. Volume in the S&Ps is decent yesterday. Volume today, totally anemic. You know what I also picked up on? Take a look at volume in the options marketplace. In the options marketplace, okay, we traded normal volume in Broadcom. This is a huge move in Broadcom. Tesla. Okay, Tesla only traded 75% of normal volume. NVIDIA, which is actually a big bid, traded 95% of normal volume. Meta, decent sized bid, traded 76% of normal volume. And it goes on and on. Volume was incredibly light today across the board in both options and in the futures contracts themselves. Be mindful of that. This is now, okay, multiple days we've seen that we've had an up day. Volume is just simply not there. But as I said again, we are getting two-sided trade. Last thing I want to mention, this week, you're expecting a $94 move, okay? That's a $94 move. So between, here's Thursday, here's Friday, that's it, people. Are we going to hit the upper or lower edge of the expected move? Because we're still a mile away from it. We are marginally higher on the week right now. In fact, let's get wildly specific. When I say marginally higher, we're trading right now 67.53. Where do we start the week? Okay, 67.16. What do you got? Absolutely nothing. Look, 30, 40 points amongst friends is absolutely nothing, especially in a $94 expected move. Okay, what can you anticipate the rest of the week? Markets are going to pick up. Markets are definitely going to pick up. Some of the volatility is going to pick up because you're going to strive to hit the upper and or lower edge of that expected move. For one, I got a big boy butterfly sitting right down here. 20-point wide butterfly sitting on the lower edge of my expected move. So as I often do say and hope for, bring it, okay? Bring it. Bring the volatility in here because I'm awaiting. Come right into that 66.20 and I'm home. I'm waiting for it. Some sell side activity would do us nicely. Now, that trade is just a shot in the dark. I paid 35 cents for it, literally $35 for like a one lot. Okay, for something that could be worth as much as 20. So any sell side activity would be, okay, lovely coming into the end of the week. Thanks everybody for joining us here at TheoTrade. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.